you run pretty hot normally, right?
Not since I quit drinking. I've cooled down at least 7 to 10 degrees since I quit. Yeah.
PowerPoints, power lunches, conference calls, reply to all, endless meetings, constant check-ins, and so much wasted time. Are you sick of the BS? So are we. It's time to take our time back, rework the way we work, and make every call a call to action. This is a podcast for people who want to stop talking and really start connecting. This is After 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to After 12, 12 for 12's original podcast series that talks to interesting brands about their people, their products, and their process. Today, we're very happy to have two world-renowned chefs with us. We've got Mr. Stephen Wambach, and we've got Mr. Taylor Neary. One Manhattan-born, one Atlanta-born, here in the virtual space at After 12. Gentlemen, welcome to After 12. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Great, Adam. Thank you for having us.
That sounded very canned, Stephen, but I like it. And as always, we've got my sidekick, Mr. Josh Rush, who funds these little endeavors into the virtual. Josh?
Yeah, so long as the government will reimburse us, yes.
That's right. Gentlemen, we find ourselves in precarious times. It's the end of the world. How is everyone faring?
Yeah, go for it.
So, we're hanging in there, not all at once, guys. Come on. We're hanging in there. We've made the switch about 2 weeks ago to be takeout only, and then about a day and a half after we decided to make that switch, the city of Alpharetta said that you cannot have dine-in guests any longer. So we were kind of a couple days ahead on that. But I mean, we've had good support from the community, and we're still. It's a new day every day, that something that we've never done. Like, I mean, I filled up 200 ramekins, to-go ramekins today, which was an interesting. Felt like I was working for a charity.
So let's go back a little bit. So Taylor, your restaurant Holmes is located in Alpharetta, Georgia. Just give us some background information. How long have you guys been in business, and what kind of food do you guys create?
So we opened in July, so we're coming up on 2 years now. We were, like I said, downtown Alpharetta, in the historic Jones House. It was built in between 1914 and 1915. I think they paid $500 or something for the house, like something silly. It had been zoned residential and then became zoned for like small offices. There was real estate and some law firm stuff and like a lawn care office inside the house. Then we came in and basically tore out most of the interior structure, but still wanting to save some of the original stuff, the stuff that was still worth it and still going to be able to last through the life of a restaurant use. So we saved some big brick fireplace right in the center of the dining room. Some of the original dining room stuff is now our private dining room. But yeah, so like I said, about 2 years in, we're 2 weeks into our Holmes bodega to-go business now. Originally, or normally, I guess, if that's a thing, we started off doing all small plates. We had about 20 items on the menu, and then we kind of geared that back a little bit, and we were seeing that people wanted more larger entree style stuff. So now we kind of have a split menu. We've got 6 to 8 entrees and then about 13 to 15 small plates. Run a pretty cool little pasta program, making everything in-house. But yeah, I mean, it's local, kind of chef-driven, inspired by our travels and what we like and what we're into.
Nice. And on the other side of the country, from Atlanta to Palm Springs, California, Stephen, so you used to work in brick and mortar restaurants. I mean, you came up, you started working in your grandfather's butcher shop as a kid, and then, worked your way up. You've been working in restaurants all your life, and now you've got your own company that does more packaged foods or delivered foods, event type stuff. Tell us about yourself and your background.
Well, yeah, I mean, we started the private chef business at the end of 2018, and it was going pretty well. We had a big lineup for Coachella. We had a bunch of executive retreats coming out of LA, and then kind of supposed to be a big breakout month for a private chef business, and it all kind of fell off. Now, we were lucky that we were already kind of planning to launch a butcher shop at this time. So we were already kind of thinking about prepared foods and delivery. We had our brand, we had our refrigerated van, we had a few things up our sleeve. But as soon as kind of all that high-end business just dropped off, we had to go really, really quick and spend about 8 or 9 days straight on the computer, making phone calls, getting all of our permits in line, and then trying to figure out how our food kind of transfers over to aluminum containers and reheating, which has been really an interesting process. And we haven't really had a lot of time to test these things as well, because it's been so rush. So it's been a crazy 3.5, 4 weeks. But the response again from the community has been really positive. And if I learned anything, people just love lasagna and chocolate chip cookies out here in comforting times. I mean, I've never done such kind of casual, toned down food to go, and it's just really interesting, and it's a really good challenge. I'm enjoying it, actually.
Nice. So Taylor, your concept, you've got people coming up to the porch. Josh, who's on, he lives close to you and he can actually come up to the porch. But do you guys actually deliver, or do you use a third-party delivery service for that?
At first, I'm still willing to, but at first I was like, because Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub and all those third-party stuff, we never really used them initially, mainly because my food it's not really to-go food, and you guys kind of can both, I think, vouch for that since you've eaten. It's like just doesn't travel very well, and it loses a serious perceived value from going to from a handmade ceramic plate to a eco craft to-go box.
Right.
It just doesn't have the same bang. But we have some guest requests that we bring it out curbside. Obviously, no issue with that. We have some guests that come every day and want to hang out, but we can't let them. And then we have people come in and pay real quick, and we make it comfortable for them. We've got hand sanitizer. We're wearing gloves. We're taking the proactive steps to show people that we care, and we're offering them something that we normally are able to do here. An experience that we can curate here. We're trying to.
And you guys, so talk a little bit, because Alpharetta's, we've got these open container laws, which I remember when we first moved here, I thought it was the craziest thing. I was sitting downtown Roswell and people are walking around with drinks in their hands. And I was like, that guy's got a beer in his hand. But so you guys are doing
fantastic city.
It's amazing. And you guys are doing these craft cocktail kits. So tell us about those.
Yeah. So, like Chef said, it all happened quick, and I had to minimize my menu. I had to minimize, our offerings basically for obvious reasons. And right off the rip, we were like, let's create some cool kind of packages and things that people can take home and not only just eat or, walk in the house, open it, eat it, be done with it. We wanted to make something that could create an experience,
Right.
Couples, I know people that have kids are going banana sandwiches right now at their house. I know, Josh, I can tell by your face.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. And so we put together some cocktail kits, and all it is we make an oleo saccharum using different flavorings: citrus, lemon, lime, orange, grapefruit. We made some spicy ones. Right now we have the lemon, pink peppercorn, and Hawaiian plum. And then we have a grapefruit and jalapeno. And so all that is a syrup, comes in in a quart container, and then a pint of fresh juice. And all you have to do is add a bottle of whatever tequila, vodka that we can't unfortunately sell, but the liquor stores are still banging right now.
So you can't serve, you can do cocktails to go right now, right?
I can do cocktails to go, yeah, but I'm talking about cocktail kits that we're selling kind of.
You can't sell anything that's got a screw top or a lid on it, or
can beer and wine. I can now.
Okay.
Because
Allowed us to like basically retail. So I can sell unopened bottles of wine and like a 6-pack of unopened beer. But liquor I can't do yet.
Gotcha.
how are and Stephen, maybe you can answer this too. I don't know what it's.
To go cocktails, like by the single portion cocktails.
Gotcha. Yeah.
How are your purveyors managing through this? Because I know just the grocery store experience right now is, I mean, we go to the grocery store, like I come home like anxious and depressed. It's just a weird feeling to go into the store now, but there's never, I mean, it's like, well, I guess we'll just make whatever's left, it's like, so that you can't get like whatever you want at the store right now. So how are you guys managing with regards to like your purveyors and just getting the stuff that you want to cook?
Yeah, I mean, the first week was scary because the stores were bare and we didn't really know where the food was going to come from. I mean, we had, accounts, we're close to obviously Los Angeles, we're close to Las Vegas. So, and again, I completely agree with you. The store is kind of freaky now, right? I mean, it's not someplace you want to go get stuff. You just don't want to go someplace and go, pick up your produce anymore or anything else. So we're really relying on those trucks coming out of Los Angeles. The fishermen that we buy from in Newport Beach, that we get direct from the docks, are still fishing. I mean, that hasn't really stopped. So we're still able to go out there once a week, go pick up the fish we need from them, and then bring it back. But the first produce delivery we got from Los Angeles was stuff that would be sitting around their warehouse for probably 2 weeks. I had to send, 80% of it back because it was, you didn't even have to open the bag. You just see that, like, obviously this is, and we're not paying for this. Like, you need to take this back on the truck and get it back. But I completely understand where they're at, because I couldn't imagine having, a 1 million square foot warehouse full of food and this happens. I mean, and we're a 3-person team, a little independent company. I mean, we're, if we had a bigger space or we had employees and stuff, I mean, we'd be in a much different spot right now.
Right.
Well, I mean, so the other interesting thing is, Taylor, one of the things that you've got going on that isn't just food is the space that you've actually curated with, art and really cool furniture. I mean, you've got a great space. I mean, and this historic Jones house that you're in, you've really converted it into kind of a gallery of sorts. So when people go, they're just enjoying being outside of their house. Now you can't let people in. So, I mean, that whole component you've kind of had to zag away from. How has that been? I mean, who's actually coming into work at your shop these days?
So right now it's me, Dylan, who's my general manager, Adrian, who's our beverage operator. And then I've got my chef de cuisine, Jonathan Marquez, and then one other salary employee, young kid who's been with us since we opened. And that's it. So there's 5 of us. And then obviously people have days off. So like yesterday it was me. We had 3 people in the building yesterday. And we're selling to-go food, and we're getting good support, and we're doing numbers that are very surprising to me, which is on the
well.
Good.
So on that note, like, what's going on with Home Slice and because I was thinking, like, that's what I wanted to ask you about, was just because you weren't done with the construction there at Home Slice.
No, I mean we'd actually, we're just about to get our permits.
Okay. What is Home Slice? Let's start there.
Okay, so I'm opening about 5 miles north of Alpharetta. There's a new development called the Halcyon. It's similar concept to this. Alpharetta City Center and kind of Avalon type thing, where it's, work, live, play, mixed use, commercial, residential. And they have, which is also kind of a trending thing, like, I guess it's a food court. I hate to say that word because it sounds like North Point Mall. But it's a big A-frame style building with 8 stalls and then a giant communal seating. And so we got an opportunity to go into one of those spaces. So we're doing wood fire pizza, and we're going to call it Home Slice.
Nice. I like that it's at a place called Halcyon, because that's what I take for my anxiety. I'm on it right now, actually.
We were, like I said, about to get permits, and our landlord called us and was like, I know you guys are, once we got permits, we had 90 days before we started paying rent. And obviously right now it's not the move. So he was super cool. He was like, we're not going to do anything until all this is over. So y'all
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're in good shape there. And then we actually just got an email today that we're getting the month of April no rent for Holmes and Alpharetta, which is also very nice.
Is there an advantage to being forced into this situation? I mean, global pandemics don't happen, but every 100 years or so, hopefully. I mean, the fact that you guys had to kind of, the pathogen zigged and you had to zag, and I mean, Stephen, you're not a lasagna chef. I've eaten your food, and it's not.
Give them what they want and charge them for it. I mean, that's kind of the way it's going to have to go from now on. I mean, it's something that I've been kind of toying around with this kind of this casual kind of direction, and it's forced us into this way of working now, where we have to think ahead. You have to order ahead too. I mean, we're already running out of to-go containers and everything else that's coming out of Nevada because everybody's snatching them up. So we're always having to stay just a couple steps ahead. I mean, we just ran out of to-go boxes yesterday to put, the bigger box that puts everything in. And we're just staying ahead every couple days. And I think if we can grow this business in this time, it will look good for investors down the road when we're trying to get our butcher shop.
Yeah.
And I really think that this prepared food things, if we're able to kind of dial it in over the next 2 to 3 months, or however we're under house quarantine here, then that's something that I think we're going to be able to turn that into something down the road.
Has there been concern? I mean, speaking of quarantine, I'm a total hypochondriac and germaphobe. I mean, has there been concern? I don't know, for you, Chef Neary, that like people don't want to come in contact with you, or they want to make sure that there's a guarantee that you guys aren't sick in the kitchen or the food is contained? And either one of you guys speak to that. I mean, what are you doing to kind of mitigate those fears and deliver that same kind of bespoke culinary experience, or great food, be it lasagna or, be it, grilled corn that has, your kind of signature touch?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said earlier, like there's only so much that we can do that's going to express the fact that we're following protocol. I mean, I wish everyone would know that we're sanitary any day of the year, no matter what's happening.
Sure.
You could shave your beard, but
then people would be scared. I don't know.
That's the real flavor, Taylor.
No. But like the way you do anything, just like you would present a plate at the restaurant in the dining room, if you have nice to-go boxes, nice looking stuff, your orders, you're efficient, like it's the same, but it's different, also because like there's still that level of detail that you have to put into putting food in a to-go box. I mean, like you lose that perceived value of like your dining room and that feel and the service and the buzz and all that. But just trying to, have the most badass to-go food that anybody's doing is kind of our route right now. And, we're expressing different menus, and we've got the kind of we call it the Holmes bodega, because that's essentially, we're a convenience store. You can come in and get dinner, you can get t-shirts, you can get bottles of wine, bottles of beer. We started doing a bunch of different preserved stuff to just kind of use up product.
Yeah.
Like we've got hot sauces working. We've got pimento cheese. We've got smoked mahi, like fish dip. Like we're basically we're trying to hustle and sell anything we can.
That's right, man.
And like just to talk about the running out of to-go stuff, like we're using stuff at a rate that I've never in my entire 16 years of working in kitchens experienced. Like to-go silverware, like I've gone through 3 cases of it. Normally a case lasts me like 9 months. And
welcome to the apocalypse.
So it's weird, man. It's super weird. We're just trying to, we're rolling with the punches. And
how's the pineapple rum stock? Is that still?
We did inventory the other day, so I know exactly how much we have. Good. We're in good shape.
Stephen, you guys are doing kind of an interesting thing in terms of like guaranteeing that you don't have the wretched coronavirus. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we're doing, looking at, examples in delivery food in Italy and in China. We're kind of taking inspiration from that and doing non-contact delivery. So, we literally put gloves on before we drop the box. We ring the bell or we text you. We let you know that we're there. We drop the prepared food that's cooled. It comes in our refrigerated van for you to heat up whenever you like. And we're taking our temperatures daily. We're taking our temperatures daily. We're putting those on an index card. And we're tucking that in the box.
And you run pretty
That's
hot.
cool. That's
you
cool.
run pretty hot normally, right?
Not since I quit drinking. I've cooled down at least 7 to 10 degrees since I quit. Yeah. It's a little chilly.
Good. It's good.
For Adam, yeah. It's because obviously, Palm Springs is an older community, let's face it. Yeah. Right? It's an older community that has a lot to lose. Right? I mean, they've made it here. They've made it to this area. They've got their lifestyle. They got everything they want, and they're not going to lose it to a cold. Right? So, people. Again, I think that people. It's a good point that you brought up because people are a little mistrusting of kind of what's going on right now. Just because there's no symptoms. I mean, we could have it right now and just not have symptoms. You just don't know. So. I think once we're able to get a couple deliveries out to people and they're able to heat up the food as they like, we've had a lot of repeat business. We're only about 12 days in. So hopefully this continues to keep us, above water.
Have you had to adjust your price point or strategy around how you're pricing?
Oh yeah. Price point now, when we did private events, they started at $175 and ranged up to $350 a person. Now, we're looking at, you could feed 10 people with lasagna for $75, so it's like, we're cooking everything for 2 to 3. So we're doing larger portions. So that way we're not just dropping off one order of this or one order of that. If you want something that's kind of on the lower end of things, like a side of broccoli, you're still going to pay $16 because it's a bigger portion. So we're kind of portioning everything for 2 to 3. And since the community is a little bit older out here, like they get more portions out of it. So there's a lot of value in it.
So how is this? I mean, this is unprecedented in really any industry. I mean, again, the world hasn't had a global pandemic since 1918. But how is this affecting the service industry from your perspective? And what is it doing to your employees and your teams and how you're going to market?
I mean, for me, I've furloughed 14 people.
Wow.
And I mean, in a regular situation, that would be an interesting thing to do or request or attempt. But with the way it's working now, I mean, I've got 3 salary people that I furloughed, and they're collecting almost 90% of their normal income.
That's great.
Which is fantastic for them because they're, they get to spend some time at the house. Not that that's awesome or anything right now. But I don't have to pay them. And the way it's working now is we got approved actually today for the the SBA loan.
Nice.
And so as long as we rehire, it's a certain percentage, but I think it's out of all of the 13 people I furloughed, as long as 5 or 6 are rehired, then the loan is unforgiven. So we just got granted $205,000 loan that as long as nothing ridiculous happens and we're able to hire people back and have the need to hire people back, then we won't have to pay that loan back.
That's a lot
awesome.
of cocaine.
I was going to say, now you can finally pay off that Heston.
Yes.
So, and then Stephen, I mean, talk about the butcher shop. I mean, you have this great business plan. You were planning on opening a brick and mortar. Does this kind of make you kind of rethink that a little bit after COVID lifts?
No, I don't. This is, I think this concept's going to work even in this environment. As long as we can stick with deliveries and, maintaining trust with the community, I think that we're still going to try to move ahead with it. The private chef business and the special event business that, when we all got decimated, I don't know about that. I don't know at this time too. I mean, it seems like this business is a lot more consistent for us, right? Because with the private chef business and then the special event business, I would work like a dog for 2 weeks, big payout, and then have nothing going on for 4 weeks. And it would just kind of go like that. And this has been a lot more consistent. Obviously not the money we're looking for yet, but I think it's going to give us an opportunity, should we be able to get into a bigger space, that we will be able to scale this up, as long as we start to dial in the cooking processes and the reheating, for convection and both for conventional ovens and things like that. We're actually really treat it like a lab and, sit down and eat the same dish 4 or 5 times. Once we have time to do that and catch up from getting all these orders out, then, I think this can turn into something. Now, another interesting thing too, with everything kind of closing down in town, I don't know what's going to reopen.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that might be something that would work out to our advantage a little bit down the road, depending on, hotel management contracts and things like that. If we can build this brand over the next couple months, there's no reason that, we can't start to look at that down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor, are you seeing the same thing in the Alpharetta market?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's weird because, as chefs, like they're being forced to be creative in a fashion that they've never really have. Not everyone, but a lot. I mean, for me, like having a dining room and, not using Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of those things. Now I'm using both of them. It's just, it's different. And we've already had people ask, like, hey, are you guys going to continue to do this, like, when you open back up? And I mean, the cocktail kits are one, like, people are loving that. So I mean, like, there's things that we might learn from this and adapt, and it could potentially change a lot of, like he said, people might not open up. Like, they might have to change the concept and do something that's going to be a lot more low overhead and more, efficient when it comes to, like, making $1 at the end of the day.
But guys have, I'm sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was curious to know your thoughts on Adam's dog's barking in the background. I was curious to hear your thoughts. I think there was kind of a movement already where, there's like this chef burnout factor where, I'm reading about these guys that are running these world-renowned restaurants and they're just burning out. They're tired of it. The cost of real estate just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And it's like, more casual food, simpler food. Think about Tay, like the guys at Gracious Plenty. I mean, just being able to move to something simpler, but still make great food. Do you think that, maybe for the folks that, I don't know, I think more people are just going to kind of walk away from the big traditional restaurant and do something simpler? Maybe.
I mean, that's the weird part is, like, when as human nature, you do something for 3 weeks consistently and it's going to become a habit, and so, like, these people ordering out and having the luxury of having one of their favorite restaurants or restaurants that they like to go to, creating these family meal packages that serve 2 to 3 people, and there's 5 different options, and they can come pick it up. It's hot, it's ready to go. There's reheat instructions in the bag. Like, some people are probably like, hell yeah, this is nice. Like, I don't have to go out. I don't have to get dressed up. Like, there's people out there, that the simplicity and how easy that is to manage.
Yeah.
They might stick with that, so things might be different at Restaurant Holmes when we open. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I can't wait to turn the pasta machine back on and get that going again. And, like, we have crazy feedback with that. And, I've never experienced my pasta, to go uncooked, like, and I know, Josh, I don't know, I think you and I talked about the whole pizza thing. Like, my pizza dough cooks fantastic at 900 degrees.
Yeah.
But nobody has a 900 degree oven in their house, or most people don't, rather. So, it's adapting at this point, and we're going to, we sit down every day and talk about what else can we do? What else can we give to people, sell, like, just make the money.
Are you guys considering, like, new ingredients, like a bat or an armadillo or a porcupine or
pangolin?
bat tacos.
Well, they've got the antibodies now, so it's probably good to start getting into the bat game. Freaking bats. It's like, I wouldn't think to eat a bat.
You know, that's another thing. You guys, you work in more, in the culinary food scene, let's call it. But I mean, does this talk to a little bit more awareness of just the issue of food supply? I mean, and the fact that the Chinese are, the most populated group of people, and they need to eat. So if you're talking about bushmeat or any other kind of, unregulated food stream, how do you see this affecting this virus affecting kind of the, again, purveying food in general across the world?
Well, I mean, I don't think that those markets are going to stop anytime soon. I mean, I think that'll continue on. I think that I don't know. I think it's still too early to say for me about how this is going to affect the food chain. But there's always going to be those bushmeat markets. I mean, you see them everywhere, right? You see them all throughout Southeast Asia. You see them in China. You see them you see them in Africa. I mean, they're all over the place. And I don't think that's going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, the demand is still there. It's kind of displaced a little bit. Like, we work with a lot of small farmers in the area, and they're basically like kind of in the same boat we are, where they're surviving, but they're not. It's not like that. Like, the grass is rotting or something. It's just like everything's normal as far as like being able to produce stuff.
Right.
So I mean, the only thing, I haven't really seen any issues with getting orders. I mean, we had a purveyor bring us, he said he was going to send 10 gift baskets, and he sent 10 crates of vegetables for free. And we were able to give them to all of our, almost every staff member. We divvied some up. The ones who had kids got more. But yeah, I mean, it was a giant basket full of, that's awesome, 10 to 15 different styles of vegetables. So like I said, we're getting the support, and it doesn't seem, I think that was an effort for them to maintain business, also kind of get rid of stockpiles of stuff that they have in the warehouse. But we haven't seen much short. But, then again, our orders are down 60% because I took off, 13, 14 dishes.
Has this changed the way you guys talk to your customers, or what you say to your customers? I mean, in terms of like your marketing, your messaging? Well,
like, I've also learned more of our customers' names, because like normally when somebody comes in, you won't necessarily get their name. If they sit at the bar and you start a conversation with them, that's one thing. But everyone that calls them, like, can I have a name for the order? Because they're just coming to pick it up. And so like I've been able to put names to faces a lot better. And people are curious. They're like, what can we do to help? What is there, and the first couple of days I was like, just keep coming back and supporting us. We really appreciate it. Now somebody asks them, like, give me money. That is the best thing you can do, is give me money to put in the bank for the restaurant. We started a GoFundMe too, that we've raised about $2,000. That's all going to the service team that doesn't have any work right now. We've generated about $400 per person for 12 servers.
That's great. That's really great.
Awesome.
So we're trying to take care of them, and they're willing to help and do whatever we want, which is nice. So.
Stephen, how about you? Have you noticed, you're getting not just new customers, but a different ilk of customer, different type of customer?
Oh yeah. I mean, we were very kind of specific. We didn't have a lot of business in Palm Springs, to be honest. All of our business was more down valley, where all the money is. Indian Wells and Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert. So, we're getting a lot of deliveries now in Palm Springs. We, Joan and Gary and a few other people in town, they've really been pushing for us. And again, it's a tiny market here, right? A really, really tiny market, especially when it comes to the restaurant scene. I mean, it's very small, and we're the only ones kind of doing prepared food delivery at this point. Everybody else is kind of moving to delivering hot food. So I think we have a good edge up on the competition here. And, with or a lower price point now, and a little bit of value behind it, as opposed to really just kind of having people commit to $200 a head. It's broadening obviously our customer base quite a bit, and they're still spending. Our average check is still $150 for a delivery.
Well, I know some of your favorite restaurants are in the Palm Springs area, and I know you're going to be really sad to see the ones that don't come back. That was an awful joke for all those people.
Yeah, I can't talk bad about the community, Adam.
Josh, any other questions?
I would, I guess, I don't know if it's too soon, but my wife just flashed something that caught my eye, and she's still wearing clothes, by the way, but so question for you, the maybe all too soon coronavirus-themed plates, dishes, what are we serving?
Yeah. What do you serve during a global pandemic?
I mean, like, I don't know, quarantinis. That's the dumbest one I've got.
The Cyrus the Virus cocktail, did you make that one?
And the reference.
Cocktails are probably easier than actual food sources, but menu items.
I mean, yeah, it's bad talking. I think we already talked about that.
Yeah. Just bad. Any bad taste? Last remarks from you, Stephen?
No, I think that it's interesting that we've been able to kind of come back full circle now to comfort food again, and that's when things get tough. That's what everybody wants. People want kind of cheesy, kind of homemade pasta, kind of things that people that they just want to eat on the regular. That's going to make them feel better. And we're trying a lot of different things. We're able to update our menu whenever we like. So we're just reaching out to the community and just trying to see what everybody wants to eat. It's nice to drop the ego a little bit and just kind of cook food that people want. That's something that's been a little different for me. So it's really nice to do something casual, which is what I've been talking about all this time, and this has forced me to do that. So I'm actually not happy about the situation, but I'm pleased with the way things are kind of working out.
Taylor, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And we're kind of, although the demographic here is the same, people's attitude are different. And, we've kind of, you guys know this, but we try to be as punny and as ridiculous as we can on, especially like social media aspect. We do some weird stuff. And, like we've been kind of rolling with the make your house a Holmes, and people have been posting on Instagram, tagging us on that. We're sharing it. So, I mean, we're doing something, we're making strides. We're creating a cool kind of thing that's never been around before. I mean, it's like you said, it's a weird situation. I mean, we're cooking to-go food on a custom Heston suite.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode was really to get the two of you to meet, because you're both extraordinary chefs and you're great human beings. Have you been networking with other people in the industry, other chefs?
For me, yeah, I've been reaching out to a lot of my friends in New York just to see how they're doing. Everybody's obviously lost their jobs. There's really no end in sight to it. Just reaching out and see how people are doing. I don't really see, this kind of people kind of getting back to work for a while. And, it's cooking is tough. It's not like you got a big nest egg kind of waiting, you're holding on to a bunch of money in the bank, just waiting to spend it. I mean, it's very paycheck to paycheck. And there's a lot of people out there, millions and millions of people. And this isn't the only industry that's been hit hard, right? But it's obviously, special to us. And it's just reaching out to people and seeing how they're doing, because it's just a really tough time for everybody, and nobody knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Well, if people wanted to reach out to you guys and try your food for the first time, Stephen, how would they get a hold of you at SMW Inspired? SMWinspired.com. Place an inquiry right there. Easy enough. And then my email is Stephen@SMWinspired.com. Taylor, how about for you?
Our social media at Restaurant Holmes. We're on DoorDash. We're on Uber Eats. You can order for in-house pickup through our website, which is restaurantholmes.com. And a good contact for me is my email, it is taylor@restaurantholmes.com.
You guys have made it too easy. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's great to talk with both of you. I'm obviously not a professional podcaster. This is an area that I lack any sort of tact or skill. But the dogs are here and the children are here, and this isn't even my family. I'm actually just visiting from out of town. But I still have air miles, and I can't wait to see you both. Taylor, it's crazy that I was just at your bar after shooting a commercial like just a little over a month ago, and now I've got a stockpile of masks. No, I'm just kidding. I do have quite a few gloves, but it was a box of gloves, and I need to wear them for safety reasons. But it was a wonderful talk with you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Josh, any last words? Because you're good at the last words.
Stephen, it's great to meet you, buddy. I've heard so much about you and your trippy walks in the desert with Adam. I've never been to Adam's new house, and I hope that he can afford to keep it throughout this whole thing so we can come hang out sometime. But thank you for joining. Taylor, we'll be by in about an hour.
Okay, sounds
all
good.
Right.